everyone, and welcome back. I am Nicole and this is Letting It Be Sew. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about all things sewing, crafty, creative, and a bit of life in general as well. Happy New Year. It is now 2025. This is going to be a Friday Sews video, which is the hashtag started by Jen by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, but I am filming it on Wednesday, which is the 1st of January 2025, just because that's when I've got time to film and edit. But yeah, a brand new year. We'll see what it brings, but let's kick things off with what I am wearing, which is also my first finished make of the new year. Well, technically I finished it yesterday, but you know, I'm going to count it as the first make of this year because if I make the rules. So I am wearing the Greyline Studios Lark Tee, which is a pattern that I bought a couple of weeks ago off of Vinted, and yeah, wanted to try out some other jersey tops other than my, you know, tried and true ones that I make all the time. So I have made there's several different views for this pattern in terms of the neckline and sleeve length. So I have made the boat neck and I have made the 3/4 length sleeve, and I've made it in this lovely green with like funky coloured abstract leopardy print jersey that I got from Sarah at Simple Life Fabrics. You can see, yeah, it does go all the way down. And yeah, so when I was deciding what size to cut out for this, I will have my Linden, which is also a Greyline Studio pattern that I've made for like years and years, and even though I've definitely changed sizes in that time, it still works. But I felt it was kind of not maybe as oversized as the pattern suggests. So when I was deciding what size to cut out, I decided to cut one bigger than my Linden, because obviously these are t-shirts, they're meant to be more fitted than the Linden, and I was kind of like on the borderline of one of the measurements. But I definitely think that I will size down next time, because maybe you're not going to be able to tell, but this, where the shoulder seam is, it's you know, it is sliding off, like it should be kind of like here. So it is like not crazy big, but it is just a little bit big in terms of wanting it to be fitted. Particularly, maybe it wouldn't be so noticeable if I had done all the other necklines like the crew neck or the V-neck, but because I've got this really wide boat neckline, yeah, it's kind of wanting to do that. And it's definitely like some room. It's like not super fitted, it's not crazy loose either, but I think having looked at the pattern pieces, there's not a huge amount of difference in the sizing, so I think it'll be fine to go down. I mean, I do really like, you know, I find that sometimes on t-shirt patterns like this, when it's the longer sleeves, they can be really tight, and I do feel like this, you know, there's still some give there. So, but I don't think that there is a huge amount of difference if you actually look at the pattern pieces in terms of the size. So I think again I will be okay to go down one size to the same size that my Linden is cut out in, and it will not end up being crazy tight. It'll be just right then. But yeah, I mean, this was so easy to sew. It is literally a front, a back and sleeves, because there's a boat neckline, so this is just you finish the raw edge and then fold it down and stitch it down. I've just done it with a zigzag stitch on my machine, but everything else is on my overlocker. And yeah, then you just do the same for your, you know, sleeve and bottom hems. Just, yeah, finish the edge, turn it up, and yeah, top stitch, however you want to do that. So yeah, it was, yeah, this is ridiculously quick to make because you're not even having to, yeah, faff with putting in a neckband. And yeah, I'm pleased with it. I think it's the sort of thing that I will put under my pinafore dresses. I like having the wider neckline because it gives you the option of, if you put a jumper over the top, and you don't want the t-shirt that you're wearing to show because maybe it doesn't quite go or one thing or another, like you have that space so that your jumper will just maybe sit a bit higher or the same-ish length, and it won't you won't get like a clash, because sometimes that can be annoying with long sleeve tops if you're trying to layer that, then you put something else over and you've got that like double neckline situation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't for me. So yeah, but I will definitely be making this again. I will definitely make the other views. One thing I would say about it is it's quite long. So I am 5'3", but I do have quite a long torso, and this I will take some photos so you can see it in long length, because I'm not just going to stand up and show you on camera because I'm just wearing some leggings with this, but it does come down to like, yeah, without pulling it too hard, it does come down to sort of, it just covers my bum, like, you know, we wouldn't be bending over at it, but it just about covers my bum. So that's fairly long for a t-shirt in my book. And again, it depends how you want to wear your t-shirts. Like I say, layered under a pinafore dress, this would be fine, and you know it's in no danger of coming untucked, and it just can lay flat. But if you do want to tuck it in, sometimes when they are that long, you can end up with like, you know, that, it depends if how much you want it, sort of like, what's the word, sort of like fluff up, you know what I mean, when you get that, like where you folded it over and it's tucked in, and it sort of bags out around your waistline. Then it depends, yeah, if you're okay with the amount that does that, because sometimes it can look a bit odd if you've got a lot of fabric to try and tuck in. So I'll probably try it on with some jeans, just to see how it looks tucked in, and then depending on how that is, I possibly might shorten it a little bit if I make it again, just because, yeah, I do feel like it is long on me, and I typically don't find t-shirts patterns that long, because like I say, I do have a longer torso in comparison to my overall height. So yeah, that's the only thing that I would say that I might drastically change, and it's not really that drastic, just be shortening it by maybe an inch or two, wouldn't be that much, just so that, yeah, if you want to tuck it in or you want to wear it over the top of your trousers or a skirt, that you've not got a crazy amount of fabric like bunching up, because again, sometimes that looks odd depending on what you're wearing it with. But yeah, so yeah, I'm pleased, and yeah, definitely will be making more of that pattern and adding it into, yeah, my jersey top rotation. Okay, so that's all that I have sewn over the past, well, 2 weeks since I last did a video, because I didn't have one last week because I knew that I just wasn't going to have any time to do any sewing at all with Christmas and one thing and another. So yeah, this is the only thing I've managed to get done. So my plan is, obviously, as it's New Year's Day today, which means in the UK we have a public holiday, so I'm not working, then I'm going to do some cutting out. So I'm going to cut out the Aqua Cord Pippi pinafore that I've been desperate to for a while, and I've also got my other cotton jersey that is a directional print, so I don't think I can do a gable top out of it, so I might do another one of these but with the different neckline and make sure to but yeah, definitely going to get a few bits cut out so I have projects ready and waiting to go when I do have time to sew. But yeah, this is my only sewing so far, but you know, we're just on the first day of 2025, so I think that's allowed. I do have, since this channel is called Let Knit Be Sew, I am also a knitter. I haven't really shared too much knitting on the channel, and that's mainly been because I've been in a bit of a knitting slump in terms of not really feeling particularly inspired to knit. I was knitting a cardigan for like ever, which I still haven't finished, and because it was such a basic cardigan, like it had just got a bit boring and a bit of a chore rather than enjoyable. I'd also been doing other bits in the evenings when I usually knit, like whilst watching TV and stuff. So yeah, I'd been in a bit of a slump. But as I was going to go home and spend a week with my family, and had to have obviously no access to sewing machines for a week, I decided to cast on a new project to take home with me and do, whilst we were, hanging out and watching Christmas telly and that kind of thing. So yeah, I really wish that I had written down the name of the pattern and how it is pronounced, because it is on the pattern, but unfortunately the pattern is on my phone, which I'm recording on. So I'm going to try and say roughly what it is. It's like, I think it's Irish, the pattern, and I think probably the pattern designer is Irish as well. So I will put it up on screen and I will link it below. But yeah, apologies for terrible pronunciation, but it's something like either scale gra or shale gra. I'm not sure. But it's a top-down jumper in 4-ply weight yarn, and it's got a really lovely like textured, it's not really cable, it's more like textured and directional stitches like lace at the top, and it's a little bit bunched up at the moment because obviously if you're a knitter you'll know that lace knitting especially really needs to be blocked, so like soaked and then pinned out to like get the lace to look its best. But here's what I've got so far. So I have just separated for the sleeves, so that's why it looks a bit crazy and it's a bit bunched up, and I've got little bits of thread hanging off because that's where I've got my held stitches for the sleeves and the underarms. But yeah, let me hold it a bit closer so you can see it's got this lovely textured lace stitch, which yeah is definitely going to look a million times better once I have finished it and blocked it. And my neck is curling out under there at the moment because it's just provisionally cast on. It needs to be finished off with an I-cord bind off at the end. But yeah, I have just separated for the sleeves, so now I'm on the body. The yarn is by Victoria of Eden Cottage Yarns. I really love her. She does a lot of like semi-solid colours in various different bases. She's got a lot of different bases, and this is the Nateby 4-ply, which is I think merino nylon, and then hopefully you can see it's got like silver sparkly thread in it as well. It's really pretty, and it's in this like lilac-y, it looks kind of grey on camera, but it is more sort of like a greyish lilac-y purple. But you can see it's quite variegated, like there's darker and lighter bits in there. But yeah, that is the progress that I have made. So yes, now the problem is I've done the fun bit of the pretty lace, and I've got the body. There are two options with this pattern. There's doing like a straight bodice, body really, not bodice. Yeah, straight body or like an A-line body, and I decided to do the A-line body because I think I have enough yarn, and to also give myself something to, keep me motivated, in that I'm not just having to knit for however many inches it is before you finish the body. So yeah, I'm doing the A-line bit, so I've got I think another 2 or 3 inches to knit from where I've separated for the sleeves before I start doing the increasing. But yeah, I think that will look nice, and yeah, but I will see. I don't know whether that's going to affect how long my sleeves can be, but usually what I do in those scenarios is I finish the body first, because I feel like that's the important thing. There's nothing worse than having finished a jumper and you've got the sleeves how you like them, but then the body is too short and you feel like you're constantly pulling it down. You're like, I don't enjoy that, particularly if I'm wearing it with like, jeans or like a skirt or something. Yeah. What I tend to do now is, if I've only got, a certain amount of yarn and I'm not 100% sure if I've got quite enough, is I finish the body first and then I ball up whatever is left and divide it in half, and I know that the maximum I have for the sleeves is this amount, and I am someone who, as you can see with this top being 3/4 sleeves, I quite like a 3/4 sleeve, because if I do have long sleeves, I quite often end up rolling them up just when I'm out and about. Like, I don't even have to be like doing anything, you know, crazy, like, you know, that I might be worried about getting it dirty. I just end up, you know, that's just how I operate with sleeves rolled up. So I don't mind a 3/4 length sleeve. So if that's what happens with this, then I will not be worried about that. That is absolutely fine by me, but I would much rather that the body reach the length that I'm happy with, and I'm not feeling like I'm, you know, pulling it down or annoyed by it. So yeah, that is my knitting. Yeah. I also have a little bit of fabric shopping to share. Obviously, a whole bunch of our online sewing retailers were doing Boxing Day, and, you know, even I think a few people put theirs live like before Christmas sales, so I have done a little bit of shopping. One of those is still on its way in the post, but I received on Monday my shopping from the sale from Guthrie & Ghani. So they had 20% off our fabrics, so I took the opportunity, because I really want to get some more blouses in my wardrobe, particularly ones that can be worn sort of like springtime. I really want to get some more of those into my wardrobe. So I have bought 2 of their, I think it's by the same designer, their collaborations with Rachel Parker, I think her name is. So 2 of their viscose, viscose lawn or viscose poplin, I'm not sure. I will link down below so you can see. But yeah, so I've got 1.5 meters of each of these, because that's plenty for a blouse for me. So I have got this one, which is the Chiquitita. That's a tongue twister, in the tealy colourway, because I'm me and I just can't help myself. Yeah, so it's this lovely, yeah, sort of abstracty kind of cheetah print, but could also be flowers. But yeah, very pretty, very soft, nice and drapey. Yeah, it's going to make a great blouse. So I've got 1.5 meters of that one. Oh, now I've got thready bits everywhere. And then I've got this other one, which I've now forgotten the name of. Let's see if it's on the selvage. It is Bee Happy Blooms. And yeah, it's just all of these lovely florals and little bees going between them. So yeah, really pretty. So that's on like a navy blue background, and yeah, all of these lovely florals. And again, yeah, nice drapey, a good weight viscose. It's not one of those really like thin, fine, it's a decent weight. That yeah, it's gonna make a really nice blouse. Not sure about the patterns yet. Like, there are some blouses that I have in my pattern stash that I've yet to make, that I want to test out over the coming year, I guess. There's obviously some that I have made, which are the Turning the Buttons Nell, and the Fabric Godmother Fleur. Obviously there's a quite busy pattern, so I don't, you know, the Fleur obviously has a little bit more of like the tiny details that kind of get lost. But yeah, these will be blouses of some description. But yeah, I wanted to take advantage of that discount that Guthrie & Ghani were offering in their sale. But yeah, there's a few more bits that I have ordered. I've ordered from Jenny Stitches, which yeah, is on its way. I'm imagining it probably won't come now until, yeah, later on this week, obviously because today is bank holiday, so there's no post today, so maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I will share that probably next week with you. That is all of the sewing, knitting, general crafty content that I have for you. If you hear any weird noises, by the way, it is rather windy here. It was very windy last night on New Year's Eve, and it's continued into this morning, and then I think in a little bit the wind is scheduled to die down, but then it's going to pour with rain. So if you can hear any like weird noises, it's because I'm at the top of the building, so I've got like the slanted roofs, and it just makes some odd whirring and like howling noises when the wind really gets up. So if you can hear that, don't panic, it is just the weather in the UK. So in terms of non-crafty things, obviously we've just had the Christmas holiday. Like I said, I went home for a week to spend it with my family, which was nice. Just really chilled out, just the four of us, so my parents, myself and my brother. Yeah, nothing wild, just very calm. And you know, we watched the standard Christmas telly that was on. We watched the Wallace and Gromit film, and we also watched the Gavin and Stacey finale, which I wasn't like a mega fan of Gavin and Stacey, but you know, it was nice to watch the end of it all tied up. Yeah, so we did that and just generally chilled out. And yeah, so that was Christmas. Like I say, it was very calm. We've got to sort out what our show is that we will go to see. I can't remember if I mentioned it before on my last video, but rather than buying big presents for each other, we typically buy tickets to go and see like a show or a play or something in the new year, but we haven't decided which one it is yet, so we'll be doing that hopefully in the not too distant future and getting that all booked up. But yeah, that's what we do rather than buying big presents, because yeah, we're all adults, and you know, doing something together, because we don't have heaps of opportunities for all four of us to be there at the same time with, you know, work and other responsibilities, etc. So you know, that's more important to us now than you know, people feeling like they need to go and buy stuff for people. So yes, have to have a look and yeah, make a decision. It can be tricky because you know, everyone's got slightly different tastes, but we've usually managed to come up with something that everyone is happy with going and seeing. Yeah, and like I said, this is New Year's Day, so it's a day off of work, but then tomorrow we're straight back into it. And I've mentioned like a little bit on this channel, but like for the last 6 months I had been doing reduced hours at my work, because I don't want to get into it too much because I feel like I want this to be a positive space, but yeah, having a bit of a difficult time and needed a break and a bit of a reset, and to figure out what I wanted to do in terms of career-wise and things like that. And yeah, I was fortunate that my employer worked with me to figure out a way that I could take a break from the role that I had been doing, but still earn some income, and then kind of, yeah, have the space to figure out what I really wanted to do. So tomorrow I'll be starting back on full-time hours, which will be a change because obviously I've got used to doing, you know, half days for 6 months, which has gone pretty quickly, but yeah, so that will be a change, and obviously it's going to impact on my ability to do things like film videos for this channel, but I'm hoping with some good planning and organisation I will manage it. But I'm not going back to the job that I had been doing. I'm starting something new, which is a research project, which is really exciting, because it's something that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and I've probably bored people talking about my ideas and what I think should happen for a while now as well. So it's finally coming to some fruition, so I'm really excited to start that. So I've got like a 3-month scoping period to start things off, and then hopefully once that is done, all will be set up for it then to be a permanent thing. So yeah, Yeah, so that's work. Obviously last night was New Year's Eve. I'm not a massive New Year's Eve person. Like, the idea of going out anywhere for New Year's Eve doesn't appeal. I mean, I've done it in the past, but you know, if you go anywhere public, everywhere's busy and very expensive. Obviously the weather here has been awful, so it would not have been pleasant to even go, you know, and just stand outside somewhere to watch fireworks or what have you. And yeah, I'm just not big on the New Year's Eve stuff, so I was quite happy here to just chill. I had my little beige buffet for one, of like some party food that I had in the freezer, and yeah, I was knitting, and then I watched the film on Netflix, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which is just a really cute film. I think it was recommended maybe on one of Kate's sew down videos from the Fold line, because it is sort of broadly fashion related. It's about a lady who dreams of going to Paris to buy a Dior dress, and it's just, you know, is sort of wildly unrealistic in, you know, a lot of the things that happen, but it's just like a cute, like cozy, you know, sweet little film, and the costuming is very lovely. So I did enjoy that as a nice movie to watch. And then yeah, I can't remember what else I watched. I was just, yeah, faffing around a bit, and then obviously watched the fireworks on the London fireworks. They showed that on the TV. Thought it was quite funny that there's obviously like a little, they try and do it to music, but there's like a little montage of like things that have happened in the past year, and the first thing that they could find to put in the montage was summer in England was really wet. It's like, okay, we're starting off with a good thing. Obviously they did have stuff like the Olympics and things like that in it as well. And then the London Eye like wished itself happy birthday. Apparently the London Eye is 25 years old, so I was like, okay. Yeah, it was a bit of a mishmash of different vibes of things that had happened, and then there was Paddington at the end. But you know, it was fine. It just made you chuckle that it was like, yeah, it's very English. I say that, yeah, very odd British sort of humour, and yeah. But yeah, that was my New Year's Eve, so not terribly exciting, but how I like it, so that's all that matters really. And then as it's New Year's Day, so I have a knitting group that I'm part of, and obviously I'm gonna keep going on the jumper, but we have every now and again something inspires us to do a knit along together. Usually very like broad, so that like it's not too restrictive and everyone can get something out of it that they're happy with, rather than it being like a chore of, oh, I have to knit this to fit the theme. So we are starting our knit along today, which is hoods. So just like a separate, you know, they seem to have become a thing. I didn't really know they were a thing, but a few people had made some, and everyone was just talking about hoods. So yeah, I'll probably share it next week, because obviously I haven't cast on yet, but I've got yarn already kicked up, ready to go. But yeah, so we'll be starting our hood knit along. Hopefully it won't take that long, because obviously it's a relatively small project in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, so that's how I'll be spending the rest of New Year's Day. Yeah, I think that's all I have to share, really. In terms of stuff for the channel, I did spend a bit of time thinking up what additional videos I could be making alongside these Friday Sews catch-ups. So the first one that I'll be putting out, which will be out next week, is going to be my Make 9. I have generally followed along with Make 9s most times. I don't remember what mine was from last year. I suspect I did write it down at some point, but it's probably in a notebook that I since filled up and threw away. So yeah, I've made a start fresh. I've got a fresh notebook, because everyone loves a fresh notebook to start off a new year, right? And yeah, the first pages in it are my Make 9, which I've decided on. So yeah, I will be filming that to share with you all. So it's going to be, yeah, Make 9 and also some like general, I don't really like calling things New Year's resolutions. I tend to try and think of them as more aspirations and things that I want to be important to me. I feel like new resolutions always feels like a bit tough and then a bit like a stick to beat yourself with if you then don't do the things that you've said. So I tend to think of them more as aspirations, or the things that I want to be important over the next year. So I'm going to be, yeah, talking about that in my next video. But yeah, I've got some other things. I didn't plan like every week, and obviously I think that over the year stuff will happen that will, you know, lend itself to videos. I kind of want to look at what challenges there are coming up, because I feel like I'm always like under prepared for when there's challenges and I think, oh yeah, I'd really like to participate in that, and then I've only like remembered like, you know, shortly before it's due to finish. So I definitely need to like write down some of like the main ones to put in my diary so that I remember in enough time to actually participate. But yeah, that will be my next video, is going to be, yeah, Make 9. Okay, I have talked for way too long already, despite only having one sewing finish make to show you. But yeah, I hope everyone has had a lovely festive period, however you celebrate, or if you didn't celebrate, I hope you've had a nice few weeks. And yeah, I will be back with, like I say, hopefully 2 videos a week on this channel going forward. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. If you did enjoy, please do like and consider subscribing. Creeping towards 200 subscribers, which again probably to many people is like nothing, but it's a big deal to me that, yeah, 200 people might almost be wanting to watch me talk about sewing and other crafty nonsense for, yeah, to spend their time doing that. So yeah, creeping towards that number. So yeah, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Yeah, that is everything. Thank you everyone, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.